Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's STACS event. So that was a brilliant surprise video, Tony, well done. So our first guests are Francis and Alan, and they're from the fabulous charity Make It Happen. Before they talk, just to let you know, we do have a questions and answers section. Please feel free to post and we'll try and answer and get through as many questions and answers as possible. Over to you, Francis.
Thank you so much, Debbie. It is lovely to be with you all tonight. I'm Francis from Make It Happen, and we also have our founder, Alan, with us today. So we are here to tell you all about the charity Make It Happen, who we are, what we do, and hopefully also how we can help you. So Make It Happen started 5 years ago. We just celebrated our 5th birthday last week. We started 5 years ago with one aim: to get pupils inspired in digital learning, really focusing on how we can get pupils to go from being passive consumers of technology to being digital creators. Now, we do that in so many different ways, but I will tell you a little bit about our journey, where we started, where we are now, and then we'll look briefly at how we can also help and support the schools across Scotland. We also have some schools now down in England, and we are now going globally thanks to Alan and all his many, many contacts. So when we started 5 years ago, our main aim, as I said, was to inspire as many pupils as we could in digital learning, getting them thinking about how they could become digital creators. I was a teacher prior to doing this, as was 2 of our other trustees. And then Alan and co-founder Gillian and Aidan, our designer, all work in industry. So it was a perfect partnership of industry and teaching, which allows us to be relevant within the curriculum and make sure that everything that we're doing, all the resources, are age and stage appropriate, linked to the curriculum, but also feeding into that industry pipeline. So when we started in 2018, we had 4 schools and we managed to reach 2,000 pupils within that first year. We then, the following year, managed to do 16 schools with about 10,000 pupils, about 1,500 apps installed globally, and we became an official charity with our status being granted. The following year, we managed to do 20,000 pupils. We gained 150 volunteers that all work in the background, and we managed to do 50 schools. Now, all of that was using our app design competition that I'm going to talk you through briefly in a second. And our app design competition basically gives pupils the opportunity to design their very own app. And after they have designed their app on a low-tech, paper-based entry form, we take them away, we look at them with their engineers or designers, and we pick an overall winner from every school who then has their app brought to life. So the idea goes from a paper-based entry to a real-life app that functions and works. So really inspiring for the pupils, but actually really inspiring for us to see the ideas and the creativity and the things that they come up with. When we hit the pandemic, we decided to take all of our work online and do online hackathons. So taking that competition, but putting it out there using social media, using Twitter, things like that. And we received a lot of entries from Scotland, but we also then started gaining a lot of sort of global following. We had quite a lot of entries from New York and America. Over the pandemic, we were very obviously aware of the need to make sure that pupils were being connected with schools, not only for the digital aspect of furthering their digital skills, but also for the health and wellbeing aspect and making sure that pupils and families were able to stay connected with schools, not just for a learning point of view. So we then decided that we were going to use some of our funding to give away devices to schools. So we packed up the car and started dropping devices at schools to the pupils in most need. And all of that really was thanks to our platinum sponsor, JP Morgan, who deserve all the accolade in that, because without them, we wouldn't have been able to do it. We then move into September 2021, and we, with collaborators again, our volunteers from our sponsors, managed to create the Make It Happen High project, which is the ultimate step up from the app design competition, where pupils are actually then going through that process of designing their very own app and then having a functioning app by the end of a 6-week programme. We do that virtually, which means that it can run at any school, anywhere. We also have videos and things to support that now if schools wish to take that forward. And then where we're at now, we've got over 200 apps built in the last 2 years. We have reached more than 50,000 pupils in the last 2 years. We have done 5 Make It Happen High sessions for S1 and S2, multiple Dragon's Den sessions for primary 6 right through to 6th year, and we're celebrating our 5th year as a charity. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour about who we are and what we do, but really the reason why you're here is to see how we can work together. So we work with schools in a whole variety of capacities. We are very flexible and we often make bespoke things for certain schools. But actually our bread and butter starts with the primary app design competition, which is free to all schools. We run that throughout the year, so there's no set time frame. Most days I'm at least one school at the moment. Before the holidays, we are multiple schools a day to make sure that we are getting winning announcements done and getting excitement back into the schools to show them their winning apps, give out prizes and just get the kids excited. We then managed to create a progression planner in collaboration with St Joseph's Primary in East Renfrewshire. So our progression planner runs from early right through to third level, and I'll give you a little sneak preview of that in a second. All of our resources sit on our website, which you can access at any time. We run digital leader training because we are very much about the pupils being the leaders of their own learning and also making sure that pupils are given the opportunity to take forward things that sometimes staff feel maybe is a bit out with their skill set, which we know it's not, but actually the pupils do such a fabulous job of training other year groups, of showing them how different things work, and they also have so much less fear around digital learning, whether that is coding, stop motion animation, green screen. They just love it all, and it allows that creativity to flow. We've run lots of staff tutorials as well, which we can offer. So these are the things that we usually offer them on, whether it be sort of coding progression throughout primary, and then looking at Thunkable for the upper primary, early secondary. But we can also do that for specific resources that schools are sitting redundant. And the last thing is our Make It Happen High project, which we can use at any time, where we can either support using the resources that we have on our website, or we can actually live stream into a class or two to give that initial overview to staff to then take it forward with whole year groups. So our app competition, I'll pass over to Alan just to keep things nice and fresh, and he'll tell you all about the app competition. Alan really is the brains behind this whole operation. It all started with one of his many crazy ideas. So I'll pass over to him to take it from here.
Awesome, thanks, Francis. Yep, and as Hadi kind of said at the start of this, like, we are here to help unlock these kind of superpowers that every child that we believe has. We want them to be inspired to be these digital creators. And the primary app competition starts off with, okay, like, we go out to the school and we ask, okay, who here loves apps? And from primary 1 up to primary 7, every single child has their own favorite app. They're connected to devices and computers so much. It's quite electric when you go in there and you start seeing that excitement. Oh, someone's here talking about apps. We then ask them, okay, do you want to take part in a competition here where you can come up with your own app? And as you can imagine, they also have to go, what, me? And they get very excited by a lot of their ideas. We go through, as Francis says, a lot of the types of applications that are out there. So we try and explore some of the different ideas that are out there. So there's sports apps, there's shopping apps, there's entertainment, there's education. So we try and guide the pupils through a bit of this. But the main thing is, like, we're taking them through this like 3-step journey, which is think it, design it, and build it. Every single pupil that takes part in this competition goes and does the think it and design it part. So that's them taking their first steps along this journey. So think it, design it, and here's what every single pupil gets. They get their own nice and simple paper-based entry so that anyone can take part in this. It's meant to be open for all and highly inclusive so that we can go to any school across Scotland, the States, the world effectively, and roll this out. We look for a sample submission like this. So we look for what the children love. And the child here is obviously a pupil called Alan. Hi. My 3 favourite things are obviously space, unicorns, and math, as you can see by my T-shirt and my moniker. So I've come up with this app called Space Unicorn Maths. So it's the 3 things I love the most. So I've obviously designed this fantastic application here, and hopefully you can see just how wonderful that unicorn is on there, where the unicorn, if you get that sum right, you are going to make that unicorn fly all the way up into space. Now, at this point here, obviously the children would be shouting and hollering and telling me how terrible my drawing skills are, because they are. But the good thing is it shows them that it's not about like how good your artwork is. It's all about the idea and having that thought and that design that they want to put into it. So all of this gives us everything we need to go and pick winners, and we've picked like hundreds of winners across all the different schools. So again, so this gives us everything we need, and we can then help to turn this into a winner like what you see in front of you just now. So they all said, yes, I would download that from the App Store and I would want to go and play that game. And it shows that you can go from like any idea and make that into a real app. And on the website, you'll see lots and lots of different app winners that are on there. All the ones that we've got in there, any child will be able to make. We make it so that the code is easily accessible. You can see the app, but also you can link through to the code itself. So you can go and explore that code to see how did that work. And with the winners, we'll talk them through exactly how we made that work. And also, can they add more sums to it, or can they add more graphics to it? Maybe they didn't like the yellow hair or the purple background and they want to make that different. Well, through code and through Thunkable, this simple block coding, they can do that too. And that's the experience that we look to give them. I'll maybe hand back to yourself, Francis, just now. I'm trying to unexcite myself.
So our digital progression planner I've spoken about already, that we created in conjunction with St Joseph's Primary. We also had some help from Tony on this as well to make sure that our third level was refined and able to be used for the broad general education. So it basically has our E's and O's, our benchmarks, and then suggested activities so that we are hitting all of those benchmarks from early level, so right down in the nursery, all the way through to first and second year. A lot of these things, I'm saying a lot of these things, all of these things have been tried and tested in real classrooms, you'll be glad to know. So these all work. And part of the reason behind making this was we wanted to make sure that there was resources, tutorials, things that were very easy to pick up and go with, so that pupils are having these experiences from a very young age without having the perceived difficulty or the perceived sort of challenge that sometimes comes along as soon as you start talking about coding, that sits there, as we know, just sometimes stereotypically. So we wanted to make that clear. So that's all on our website for you to access, as is all of our Make It Happen High resources. So here on our website, which we'll link and everything at the end, there are all of these sessions, and each session has a PowerPoint which talks you through how to use Thunkable to design your very own basic app. The reason for choosing these particular things to focus on in each of the sessions, first of all, talking about why we design apps, why we need to think about colours and how they look, but then also then looking into how do we create an intro screen, how do we have a login screen, how does that work? And then the red screen, the green screen and the blue screen all have different functionality. So this is almost the very basic level of how you could use Thunkable, but it gives a starter for 10 to all pupils. Recently we're working in St Ambrose for one of their Future Fridays events, and we did this for 5 weeks with them and they absolutely loved it. But we went from this basic app idea where I was showing them the code that they were to do to make something very basic, and we ended up coming out of it with apps such as apps to help us if we are on a cruise ship so that we can communicate with other passengers. We had apps that were going to track cruise ships all over the world. We had another app that was essentially like you be the judge and you have to judge whether or not the person has done a particular crime and what their punishment should be, things like that. So the children really took it in their own way, and that was with them first, second and third year. So really, really effective. What we've recently added is this last part, which is a video tutorial of me talking through all of these PowerPoints, which means you can work in conjunction with us, which we would love to do, and we would love to beam into your classrooms. But it also means that you can do that standalone as a programme of work if you choose, which we are all about sharing resources and supporting all staff to use whatever is going to get pupils inspired. All of our contact details are here at the end. I think we have managed that with about 30 seconds to spare. So if anyone does have any questions that we have not answered through this, please ping us an email, follow us on social media, see the work that we are doing. I think we've been in about 100 schools already this year between primaries, secondaries and then other events. We're running lots of events throughout the summer and a lot of the libraries across the Glasgow area, but we travel all over Scotland throughout the year to make sure that we are reaching as many pupils in as many areas as possible. So please get in touch if there's anything we can help with, or if you would like us to come out and run some events, that's what we're here for.
Right, thanks very much, Francis. That was fantastic. I'll be popping you a little email in a wee bit.